Welcome to Follow Your Joy podcast, where intuition is the doorway to your wisdom, your genius, and your joy. I'm your host, Marla Diane, and I've been transforming creative entrepreneurs' lives for over 26 years. Through 2 businesses as a success coach and a business strategist, and prior to that, an entertainment publicist and a talent manager for 2 decades. It's time to make joy your inner GPS for life and business decisions rather than lean on your logic and reason first. You'll not only be following what is most authentic to you and for you, but you will live the beautiful life that's meant just for you. You'll come to learn that following your joy is a life and a business strategy. Listen in for inspiring entrepreneurial stories and solocasts that illuminate how by trusting your intuition, you'll create a fulfilling result. Want to learn how to access, trust, or up-level your intuition? Join me in the conversation to find out how. Well, hello, my friends. How are you today? So I have a very unique, which I call unique creative entrepreneur, to share with you, who in my perspective is abundantly filled with love, compassion, definitely brilliance, and a whole lot of creativity that she really unconditionally gives to people as a gift. You know, she gives to people as a gift. She's really, in my, again, opinion, she's one of the kindest, caring women I know. Yeah. Wait till you get what I say, when you hear her. So I am so pleased to bring you Michelle Reinglass. She is many things: reformed lawyer turned mediator, international speaker and best-selling author, Reiki Master, love that, and balance expert. And of all those, also, yay, an animal lover. We love that. And in fact, I met Michelle. It was in 2020 during Jack Canfield's Reignite Your Life program, right in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm going to let you hear from her what her perspective on that was. So welcome, Michelle Reinglass.
Welcome, Marla. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Before I was really excited.
Yeah, I know. In our little talk beforehand, I think we're both excited because I think we come from a similar mold, right? Definitely. So Michelle and I were in fact, I met, just fantastic people in that program that are, still in our lives today. Thanks, Jackie, thanks to, all of those. And that's where we met. It was July, it was the summer of 2020, right? And I remember how excited we all were. It was such a fabulous program because we were all in lockdown. We're all sequestered, and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so it was a really remarkable program that connected us, I connected to you, Minda, and her jewelry, and Jackie, met through, I think, Minda or someone else in just amazing. So you remember that
program? Yep. There were like at the start, there were over 500 people in that.
I know.
And I think, how can you connect with 500 people? And we did.
And
so it was a 24/7 program. I've never been in something like that for 4 solid weeks. 4 solid
months. It was months. Yeah, it was 4 months. Yeah.
We had to do stuff that was outside of our comfort zone.
Right.
every single day, and I still remember certain things, vividly. But I was just talking to Marla about my memory of her when they had you record a video introducing yourself to the rest of the group, and Marla's came in, and it was this powerful, beautiful woman who just stood there and just said who she was, and you just thought that's a person everybody would just listen to immediately, command the floor. And um, can I go ahead and say that one thing?
Yes, of course, sure. Yeah.
So, so it's so funny because the other thing that just really stuck with me was she said openly, she goes, "Well, I'm just out of a relationship, so I'm open to meeting someone." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, I would never have had the courage to have said that." So that's Marla. Let me introduce her.
Thank you. Look, where I came from, obviously, in that delivery was one, we're in Jack Canfield's program, and it felt safe to do that because we're all there for personal growth, right? So I don't know if I would necessarily do that today on Facebook just to do it. I might, but I felt safe. I'm like, I'm with my people, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
Real
All
good.
right. Yeah, I love that. And in fact, I think that's too how Minda felt the same way too, is that I think in our first introduction, when it was a written one in our photo, she went, I think she needs to be my mastermind partner. And I didn't know that obviously until she reached out to me, but that's how we became mastermind partners. Yeah, pretty cool. I know, really. I mean, look at us. Here we are, what, 3 years later, and we're still, not only in connection, but, flourishing and so forth. So, yeah, I'm really grateful.
A lot of very rich friendships out of that group.
Agreed. Totally agree. So, okay, let's start with kind of in a summary, the highlights of your journey as mediator, Reiki master, and balance mentor, which by the way, when I was reading over your info, I went, this is very clever. They all integrate together. They really do. Did you get that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When putting together the bio, I took the bio that was the one I did for our last book, which was Leading with Legacy.
Mhm.
And I was starting to do the bio with Kate Butler as the publisher. And she has this great niche of group books where she has 30 women, for a book, and each one does a chapter. And that's part of what I'll get into. But anyway, so in that book, I was getting ready to do the bio, and I'm so tired of looking at the ordinary bios. And I've got a million of them, and for different things. And it's a short one and a long one, and all those kind of things, and law and non-law. And I thought, I want to do something different. And so I just changed the whole format of even the bio. And when I wrote it out, I had the exact same revelation that you just said, which was, my goodness, it's kind of they're intertwined, and I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah.
The missions. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
I think, if I may interject, I think what the important part for people to know is that these all came at different times in your life. This was not you sitting down going, well, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this kind of all around the same time frame. That's what I'm saying, is that they all fell into place, and especially me as a branding expert, personal branding expert, I went, that's pretty darn good, because I know Michelle and I know her story. And the balance mentor kind of came, or the balance theme, if you will, started to come into your life when I met you. And you were starting to put together a book and all that. And then the Reiki, which we then did together, right? At least the first level. I went, interesting how these all came like a couple years apart, but they all integrate together.
So true. So, and I guess it's, you think about it, if we're aligned with what we're doing, and what we're doing that we're aligned with, we love, kind of chicken and egg, which one's first.
Yeah.
And it just, when things drop in the box, so to speak,
Yeah.
it's because to me, it was just very meant to be. And I had Reiki once in my lifetime in Peru before I met Jackie. Jackie Freeman she's a very pivotal part of both of our lives.
That's right.
as a result. And we've met her in that program. She was already several time over an ordained, Reiki master.
Yeah.
So when we say expert, she's like expert, expert, expert.
Expert. Yeah.
So one day she offered to all of us can you imagine, to all, she just put it out there. Would anybody like a free Reiki? And so I took her up on that,
Mhm.
and I really loved it. And then one day she says, how would you like to learn how to do that? I'm like, I never thought of that before. So we had Reiki 1, and then we did Reiki 2. And I said, Marley, you were in Sedona. Yeah, we were in the
Yeah.
Sedona.
We were there together.
So that was our level 2, I think it was. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, just to that path I never thought I'd be on. And by the way, I have 2 cats. One of them was diagnosed with kidney disease after we just finished a long, tedious medical procedure to get rid of hypothyroidism,
Uh-huh.
hypothyroidism, and so it's a radiation, and so it's an iodine process, and she had to leave her there for 4 days, and then I had to go this whole long process after that, the post stuff. Finally, get her all the way through that, and I was having to give her injections. That was not easy. I'm just telling you, for 20 days.
Oof.
And so she gets that. I have to go now with the post medical appointment. I'm
Yeah.
expecting they're just going to say, awesome. And they did. They said, hey, this is great. Got rid of the hyperthyroidism, because it's only like a 5% chance it wouldn't get rid of it, but I was just praying. And then my doctor says, but
Oh no.
she's stage 3.5 kidney disease. I go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
She goes, the last stage is 4. I said, she's stage 3.5 and we're just finding this out. She goes, and my doctor, I know she didn't mean, it's just, vets, she's a fabulous person, but she didn't mean to say it the way it came out. But she goes, yeah, I'm sorry you had to pay all that money for the other procedure. I'm sitting there like, I'll pay whatever it's going to take. I'm just taking care of my cat, which
Yeah.
kind of leads to, I didn't know if I've ever told you, I'm going to be doing a foundation
Oh, no.
to help. So that's as soon as I get the books launched, which is soon,
Yeah.
that's my next project, is to start a foundation, because I know nothing about getting them started, but I know people who have. So, but anyway, the foundation is to provide medical care for those pets who otherwise could survive, but the pet owners, the pet parents can't afford it. And what do they normally do? Euthanasia.
Yeah.
And so even one of my friends did that, my heart was just beyond pain.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be. And so that's going to be, I don't know exactly how I'll do it, but we're not supposed to understand the how. Just
Yeah.
I know my why on that one.
Oh my God. That I really felt that in my heart. I really felt, wow.
So where Jackie and Reiki and all that
Mm.
play in. So I had to get over my devastation at this, happy because she's over the hyperthyroidism, and then sad because she's a step away from kidney death. And that's the most commman, killer of cats. And they weren't hugely old at the time. So I asked I asked Jackie, because we were on one of our Reiki things, and I said, hey, is it okay does Reiki work on animals? And she goes,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I go, can I do it on Molly? And she said, yes. So I ended up buying, I think, every book on Amazon that told you about animal Reiki, to make sure I had everything. And then Jackie gave a whole lot of stuff. And then at my farmer's market, we have a Indian couple that has Ayurvedic
Yep.
Ayurvedic supplements. And so one day I'm there and I see this thing that said kidney. I said, oh, I wish you had that. I wish they made some kidney, because I was told there's no cure and there's no real research on it, and there's just nothing that people can give to, there's kidney food and things like that, but it's not a guarantee. So I said, oh, I wish they had that for cats. And she goes, this can be used on cats. I said, what? She goes, yeah, you just put like a teeny little pinch instead of a teaspoon. I went, seriously? So I got that, and my vet put my cats on these dry foods and wet foods. And my other cat didn't have kidney disease, but he was obese. I won't even go into that story, but
Yeah.
but anyway, so I had to get one thinner and one healthier. So we had 1 year to do that, and we went back in 2022, beginning of 2022. She was down to level 2 from the 3.5.
Real, just from that?
Well, that's all. I was doing Reiki and
And
gave her the cat food. I mean and the kidney food,
yeah,
and I was putting this supplement in.
isn't that fabulous?
So it's just, and then she had one more visit, and she still was down there. So I'm now
Yeah.
on my next vet appointment that we have, well, whenever we have it. It's whenever like something will
So she's
start.
still alive.
Still alive,
Bless her heart.
and she doesn't act like she's sick. So
Oh my goodness, that's a miraculous story. So, okay. So it's interesting because you're a you're first and foremost a mediator, which is your
right.
main, right? But I love this story about the power of Reiki,
Yeah. Isn't that
right?
just amazing? Who knew? Well, people like Jackie knew, but
Yeah. Well, I've used on a side note, I am obviously, and so I'm in that also, along with you. I'm a huge believer in Reiki, and I've had Jackie work on my sweet pea Mojo, who was with me for 17 years, and several months prior to his passing, I had her do some Reiki on him, because he was going, he'd already lost a lot of his hearing, and then his sight was and he was such an amazing healthy dog. Everything from the neck down was in great shape, literally. Our vet, when I took him to numerous appointments, just I mean, his heart, everything is really healthy, but his eyes and his ears, and he was just miserable. He was just miserable, the poor little guy. But yeah, she really did. She worked a lot on him, and I was so grateful for that.
just loving that. Oh,
Hmm.
well, your dog lived a pretty long.
Oh, look, I had no,
Happy
was it
about that.
sad? Of course it was sad, but I also, really worked on connecting with him. I had some mentors, some animal communicators that I was working with, and I was in a good place, way better than I was in the beginning of realizing and letting go, and him basically telling me, he says, the body is gone, but I'm not gone. He says, I'm always here with you, but you got to let me go. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, that was the big like cry when that animal communicator, said that to me prior to, like, no, he's ready. He's just waiting for you to be ready. I know it touches. Woo, I guess we could talk about this the rest of that. Okay, we're done. We just talked about Reiki and animal communication. We're happy. I know. I love animals.
I love that Jackie and you were able to use the Reiki as well to
Yeah. Yeah.
give them quality of life and a
That's
long
right. And that's really what it was. The intention was, the last, I knew this was the year. It was effectively a year in May. So January through April is when I was trying to make him as comfortable as I could. And not, I knew it was coming up. I knew the time was coming up, and intuitively I went, yeah, okay, yeah, let's make him comfortable. And that's what we did. Quality of life till he was, not here. Ah, I know.
His
I love
physical form, you mean?
his physical form. That's right. And I have a ton, which off of this podcast, I can certainly share with you some really cool experiences I've had with him beyond his passing, which I think you could really appreciate. And I've shared it. In fact, my May through the end of last year in my newsletter, and even I think a couple times on the podcast, I did share some of this because I learned more about how to be an animal communicator, because I wanted to stay connected with him. So, and I have.
It's beautiful, beautiful, Marla. Oh,
Share with us what brings you the most joy in the best summary as you can around mediation, around what you're doing with your clients. What brings you the most joy?
It's really easy to like think of people as just like as a client who's coming in, they have a
Mm,
case. So what mediation is facilitating a resolution, a settlement
mm,
between parties who see the case completely differently and will never change their mind. It's a matter of just changing, trying to get people open to, getting it resolved. But what I love, I don't know, just the prospect of humanity. I think it's fascinating,
mm,
all the different behaviors, the emotions and all that stuff. And somehow I ended up being good with dealing with people's emotions. And so I
mhm.
actually tell everybody, I don't say it right off the bat, like, oh, by the way, it's more of while they're crying or something's happening and then they're apologizing for crying. And I just go,
Mm.
hey, apologies are not allowed, and if we were not in Zoom, because no, most of them are in Zoom now, if we weren't in Zoom, I'd be handing you the Kleenex box,
Oh, yeah.
because we wouldn't have known about COVID. I would be giving you a hug. But
Right.
it
Yeah.
just, it's just
Mm,
that human dynamic that goes on, and that's something everybody can relate to. And it may be that somebody cannot empathize with this person's, the way they're reacting, but
mhm,
it's like it's all everyone is being allowed to be themselves. And so we go through a lot together, and so it takes a lot, to get people to have trust in you, because they have to have trust in me, because when I give
mhm.
straight talk.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
just do that right off the bat. I have to,
Mhm,
so that when I reach the point and everything. So it's
mhm,
just being able to bring people. In fact, sometimes I talk about the tunnel, the tunnel of light, because we're in the worst part. Everybody's their worst on their worst day, because it's of the caustic part. And so people are just really sometimes a mess, or they're just angry. I have to remind, especially men, anger is an emotion, because they always say they're not emotional. I'm like, okay, that outburst, I'm just gonna
Yeah, that's emotional. Yeah.
sounded emotional to me. That's okay. You can call it whatever you like.
Mm,
But so anyway, it's just to be able to do that. And then so I talk to people, about like, hey, sometimes we have to go through this. I call it the crapola, and everything. So it's like think of a tunnel. So we have
mm,
to go through these processes, because otherwise no one's ever going to get to that number.
mm,
So it's going through the processes
mm,
and going through the emotions. And then at the end there's that light. So if you can just sort of see that light, because it is there, and it's just waiting for you to
mm,
get across that tunnel, and it's
mm.
going through that pipe. So that's how I kind of describe it. But to
Nice.
being able to bring, some people like maybe yelling all day, or they're, why is this taking so long, and et cetera. I'm like, 'cause
Mm.
I'm trying to deal with the emotions in the other room or something like that. But at the end, as soon as we get to the settlement, it's like
Yeah.
breath. And and it's so great to see. Two things that stand out in my mind is it sort of exemplify why I get so much joy out of doing a mediation. And one of them was, I don't remember the exactly what we were talking about at the time, but we were finishing up the mediation.
Mm,
And this young gal who started off scared to death, and just she was in between every emotion imaginable. At the end of the day, we finished, and I said, congratulations, it's done, and everything. And I was saying goodbye. And she said, and through tears, by the way, she said, I'm never going to forget you. And I said,
oh,
oh, wow.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
another one where um,
Wow.
this is before COVID. So I was in downtown LA. Actually, I had broken my wrist. So my arm's in a cast. So I had to be driven. Uh,
Mm, mm,
Caskets in the way of turning the wheel.
mhm,
In case anybody ever wondered, I did
mm,
sometimes, but
mm,
anyway, so she is this African American woman, and she like literally had the world of discrimination on her shoulders, and it was so heavy. She could not lighten up at all. She was
mm,
not happy any point during the day.
mm,
She participated, but it was like, everything was just awful.
mm.
Finally to the very end, then it went late, and I had by now called my guy to get back up to LA to pick me up. And so we finished the settlement and everything. So I go outside. I'm standing in the nice cool air, and I see her come out, and she kind of walks over, not far from me, but she's definitely not coming like right over to me. And I said hi, and she goes hi. So she's waiting for her Uber, and then she turned to me and she said, are we done? I'm thinking that's an odd question. I said, done with the mediation? She goes, is everything done? I said, yes, the case is done. Is that what you mean? She goes, okay. So, like, there's nothing more I have to do in this case. I said, nothing more. You're just going to get paid a check. It's going to come to you, but your lawyer will get that for you. But there's nothing else I have to do. I don't have to see any of those people, and I don't have. And she went on and like, then I said, it's completely done. Your life, you're free. I said, you're free. And, and I start crying just even thinking about this.
Yeah. Oh.
She's very tall and beautiful and stately and all
Mm,
that stuff, and she'd been very, you know,
mm.
held in. She threw her arms around me and
Oh.
started sobbing. And
Oh.
and then in between, she's saying, thank you. This woman I couldn't connect to the whole day, no matter how much I tried. So those are the things. And those are obviously these big things. And there's a
Yeah.
whole lot of little things like that. And maybe
Mm.
not every day is a joy, but it's mostly, that's the kind of stuff that I love.
Yeah. Wow. Very touching story. Brought tears to my eyes.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, and I could see, even more sitting here listening to you, why you're doing what you're doing, because of that, of your compassionate heart. I mean, you just have a heart of gold, and you need that for mediation. I mean, you're a great navigator. You're navigating people's emotions, and that's really a gift, especially in those type of situations. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take it a step further. Share with us, being again that the theme to, my podcast is follow your joy, right? And part of that joy is obviously listening to the intuition that's connected to the joy, which is then a life and a business strategy. It's not just a good feeling. It's like, keep doing what is bringing you joy and keep listening to that intuition. So share a story, right? In the few minutes we have left, share that story of when you followed your intuition. I know there's many because you live this way. That resulted in a very positive, fulfilling end result.
I'll talk about the first part of it then, because
Okay.
that's what got me into that. And by the
Mhm.
way, I love how you title it. I love how you live it. So
Oh, thank you.
great. So I like you. I listen. I know you used to be. You've always loved writing, and I did too. I even sent an article to Teen Magazine that never got published.
Oh,
I when we call journaling, it was my diarying. So I was always writing stuff and sending them off and whatever. So thankfully we had stamps back then. But so I've always wanted to write. I'll try to do this. I'll try this very quickly. I had not thought about doing a book. I mean, I knew at some point that was a dream of mine, but it wasn't like I put anything in action or planned anything. So I'll say that I was invited to speak at our International Academy of Mediators one year, and they wanted me to. First of all, I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to that one. I decided to give myself a break. It's too many conferences, et cetera, et cetera." And they said, and I said, "But thank you for it." And they said, "No, we're not. I'm not leaving you. We want you to do this." I kept saying, I'm sure somebody else can do it. I appreciate it, but I'm not even going. Said, well, we want to talk you into going. So long story short, I ended up being talked into going. And it started after I said, what's the topic? They said, balance. And I laughed out loud. And I said, are you serious? I'm the most imbalanced person on the planet. Why would you want me to speak on that? Now, mind you, I live this secret life of being imbalanced. I was pretty much masked most of my life, and I didn't realize that till later, in the sense that everyone saw me as this very, successful, lawyer, and, and then later, mediator. And, so it was like, but well, just to put it, I was like up late at night. I was, my day would probably end at like 1 in the morning, when I'm finishing stuff because I used to workaholic. So many different things. I was just way out of balance. I studied Louise Hay. That's how far back I go, trying my whole life to become balanced. So,
Mhm.
but I didn't tell anybody about it. I just did stuff. Oh, I'll start getting pedicures and maybe that'll get me out balance, balance. So here they are inviting me to be a speaker for this conference. And I just went, you're crazy. And so they would not let up. So I said, all right. And then the guy who was mainly asking me, he said he would do it with me. So he was my Vanna White at the board.
I love that.
We
Okay.
both came about that. So I did some Vanna White for him too, but it's like, anyway, we were shocked at how successful it was. How many, it was like, it's this huge group because it's breakout rooms and so people can go to there. And so anyway, so that ended up, so there I am. And the next thing you know, somebody said, you should write a book on balance. I'm thinking literally as I'm leaving to catch my plane to get, and everything. So the next thing that happened, and you already know how this kind of happens, law of attraction and stuff, everything on balance started being thrown at me. Every podcaster started, all these things. And so I'm dictating into my notes. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. And the next thing I know, after a while, about a year, I figured, I think I'm writing a book, So so that was the quest I was on. And
Yeah.
it was all consuming because I'm a full-time mediator and I do a lot of charitable stuff. We both are active in that, all those other extraneous things,
Mhm.
extra stuff.
Mhm.
And so I didn't have any room to do anything else. And then I met Denise McCormick and she
Mm.
tells me about Kate Butler. And she goes, would you like to be part of a group of women? And we each have a chapter in a book. And I was like, I literally paused. And the first thoughts in my head were put something else on my plate.
Right.
How can I do that?
Mm.
I finally shook myself out of that. I said, you have wanted to write your whole life. And this
Mm.
way I'm going to learn the book writing business because so I'm a little more better prepared than I am stumbling in the dark first time
Mm.
author.
Mm.
So that when she told me the title, I just about cried. It was Women Who Empower. And I've been doing women empowerment programs and, dinners and
Mhm.
a jam. And I thought, oh my God, I was like, how does this happen? So it's like,
Mm.
I trust my intuition. I went with it and it was beautiful. And then there's been others since, but putting that, I'd say, was the most epic thing because we became a #1 international
I
bestseller.
remember that. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, go grab the book off of Amazon, right? Yeah. So the intuitive part then was, so highlight that again. What was the connect the dots here about your intuition?
So, I'm being invited to do this,
Mhm.
and I have this whole negative part, which is,
Mm.
my these negative thoughts are going through. I can't do this. I don't have
Right.
time.
Right.
And then it was just, I was overwhelmed with why not? And
Hmm.
literally was just these little things that were bubbling up about, look at this, you're going to learn how a book gets written, how a book gets published, how a good book, all the different things about books that I know zero about. I'm
Okay.
starting out like anybody who like just dumb. I don't know anything about it. I'm listening to
Got it.
podcasts about how to write a book and I'm just writing, I'm just throwing things together at that point.
Nice. Yeah.
So that was the help on that journey. And since then we
Right.
published a second. And now my book, I've created a planner. It's a balance planner. And
Hmm.
interestingly, Amazon does not publish those. And so it's going to go, so can be separate, but it's also being created to tie in with the book. And
Very good.
so we finally found Hay House has a subsidiary that will publish it. So that's waiting for me. I have like this, I'm showing a teeny little amount left I have to finish. And then I'm sending it off I have a book coach where, Mary
Okay.
Giuseppe.
Okay.
So that'll be sent off. So that will start getting through the process of editing and that'll get out. And then my balance book will come after that.
Great. And what's the name of the book?
So the book is How to Break Free from Addiction to Busy. And that's where I get the mask part as far as you get addicted. We just accept the fact that we're busy. How many
Mm-hmm.
times if you listen carefully, you will hear a lot of women, but you'll hear most people saying the word "I'm so busy."
Oh, yeah.
Say
Yeah.
it without even thinking about it. It's just, "I'm so
Hmm.
busy."
Yeah. Obviously I coach mindset and constantly read new things about anything related to mindset so I can, offer that to clients. And you're right, it is an addiction to being busy. And tell me if this is some of what you're, maybe in your book and some of your expertise is that you get addicted to the adrenaline rush.
You're needed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you have a purpose. You have a purpose, but you're not looking at your real purpose. You have a purpose. This happens to me all the time. I get asked, can you give me a referral?
Right.
And I can't just give them one name. The next thing I know, I'm going through my contact
Oh
list. I'm trying,
God.
and and then they're like, oh my God, I just spent 20 minutes,
Hmm.
and you go, where'd my day go?
Yeah.
And, and yet at the end of the day, we're going to look back and say, God, I was so busy. But if you actually think about what it was. So
Mhm.
I've gotten very good at planning. It was kind of a revelation to realize that. And so organizing, in fact, the planner, somebody that just met with said, can you please have organizing and planning, it's productivity in the planner part, because that was coming up first. And I said, yes, I definitely will have stuff. And I've got in the planner, it's really cool. Art is just beautiful for it.
Mm.
I can't wait to start showing it.
Aw.
But anyway, then it'll have so it has like little it's got tips, and it's got like a couple keywords that you need, like for mindset with one of the parts of it. And then I'll have a little lessons that people can do, like
Oh,
just to get down
terrific.
the path, and
Mhm.
even just going through the planner, if you don't even
Yeah.
touch the balance book, you'd be at least starting that path on balance.
That's incredible. I mean, here was a woman that was like, write a book, right? Now you're on your third one, right? Is it third one or fourth
Yep,
one?
it'll
I've
be my
lost
third one
third
published.
one, yeah. Including a planner. Like, yeah, not a high achiever at all, are you?
Yeah, that's all right.
Never. Never. Nope, never. Incredible. Well, that's
You're
true.
good at taking time off though and doing your trips. So I will get to go to Switzerland this year, but I have
Okay.
not been good at doing the just go off and jail.
You have it's a must. I mean, I learned it from my mentors and now I pass that on to clients and friends like, sorry, you have to break the pattern. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's what travel is. It allows you literally to even think and create more creatively. And it is a pattern breaker. It's like get out of your routine and get out of the country and go somewhere that it's going to be change. It's life. In fact, I've mentioned this a couple times on podcasts. It's actually a term called transformational travel.
Hmm.
Transformational travel. And these are the things that I talk about in my coaching when I am doing that particular topic, which is and what it means. And there's even a council up in Seattle. If you Google transformational travel, the website will come up. And they actually teach,
Writing that down.
they not only promote that, but they have coaches and mentors to help you with the whole transformational travel concept. And all that means is one is you set out an intention on your way to your trip on the things you want to be cleansing of your life, transforming, right? So you literally go with the intention not only of having fun, but what do I want to transform? And then you come back and you implement whatever those, emotional, mental, spiritual aspects that you experience there, and you integrate them into your life back at home instead of just going, okay, that was a nice trip, back to normal life. No, it's meant to, go and do in your life. And that's exactly what I did the first time I went to Italy.
Wow.
Yeah, transformational travel.
Italy's a perfect place for that.
Yes, it is. There's a vortex there. Boy, I'll tell you, it transforms lives like crazy. Right.
Really.
Okay, my dear. So let's move to your before we finish up, your key advice to our creatives that are listening.
Would you like some tips?
Yes, please.
Need to give some.
Okay.
So, first of all, the main tip, the overarching part is giving yourself grace of becoming balanced.
Mm,
In that, there's four, I call it my four M's that can get you started there. So the first one is what Marla was just talking about and has been talking about is mindset. And it really is underlying everything. So it's not even underlying, it's overlaying. It's
everything.
so it's so important to be mindful of your mind.
Mhm,
And there's a lot more we could talk about, but I wanted to at least give you these so you understand what they are. The
mhm.
second one, I actually put it first in priority, but it just kind of works out being number two, and it's motivation. And the reason I like to put it first is because we don't get motivated. We don't come equipped with motivation. There's nothing that happens. We have to create it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come naturally to people.
Mhm.
And so, and you probably will can recognize this if you think back to the time where you said, I was going to work out, but God, it's really cold outside, or I'm really tired and I'm going to get, and so it's like coming up with reasons, and your mind, it's just like it's draining the motivation. So that's why I sometimes put it first. But anyway, so it's mindset, motivation. The third one is meditation. And I was never opposed to it. It just wasn't, I thought I wasn't good at it, and I thought, the whole monkey mind thing. And now I laugh because 99.999% of people say, I can't do that. I've got monkey mind. I got so many thoughts going. I said, join the club. And how are all these other people who also have monkey mind? How are they
Yeah.
doing it?
It's
So
why you do it. So you get rid of it.
key thing is even just giving yourself a quiet time,
Mhm.
and then being aware of having these thoughts. Now, if
Yeah.
it's a negative thought, you want to swat that sucker away,
Yeah.
but if it's about your to-do list, just kind of like, okay, I noted it, and now I'm back into my quiet spot. You've already improved the neurons in your brain.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So those three, and then the fourth one is movement.
Yeah.
And that is just getting moved. It can be just doing stretches. It can be
Mhm.
exactly like you just were, moving in your chair, but
Mhm.
something that is getting your body going and blood circulating in the body. That's how I always look at it. I've been told, or I've read that, sometimes when you like in yoga, you bend over a lot, so
Mhm.
your head's upside down, so the inverted,
Right.
it helps, as far as you're getting your brain going in the morning.
Mhm.
So, just some kind of movement. It doesn't have to be going out and do a marathon. Doesn't mean you
Right.
have to run 10 miles. You
Mhm.
could, just do that. So you want some kind of movement, and that, starts your day and on the right foot. And by the way, I hope I don't ever have to tell anybody this again. I'm hoping it's clear. Do not look at your phone first thing in the morning. So that
Yeah.
is the worst thing that
Yep.
anybody can
Yep.
do. And because what it does is it takes their agendas,
Yep.
puts it on your schedule.
Yep.
You say, well, no, I've got willpower. No. As soon
Yeah.
as hey, can you send me this? Hey, can you do this? And then you're like, oh, let me RSVP back to that. It'll just take me a second. So sometimes if you could like click a clicker to say what time you started looking at it and then look back, you're going to go, I thought that was only like 3, 4
I know. I
minutes
just wasted 15 minutes.
on
Yep.
somebody else's needs
Yeah.
instead of. And so it's kind of like that phrase, fill up your own cup or put on
Mhm.
your own life jacket
Yep.
before you help others, because
Mhm.
otherwise there's not a you to help. And so so I'm giving more than that, more tips, but I didn't mean to take up time.
Excellent, excellent advice. Always, especially in the morning, it should be time, yours and your higher powers time.
Hour of power. And the
Yeah.
last thing I'll just say, really important in the morning, again, hydrate. Jim Quick, who's like a memory expert, brain expert,
Mhm. Mhm.
he recommends doing 2 full glasses right off the bat in the
Mhm.
morning
Mhm.
of water, and not water with lemon in it, just water.
Water. Yeah.
I've now changed my habits, and I do the 2 cups of water, and then I do my lemon water. So I've got 3 cups going.
Mhm.
Yes, you need to be near a restroom.
Mhm.
And then the nutrition. So when you start off the day, you're less likely to blow it up after that. It's so easy to say, I already blew it at breakfast, so I'll get good tomorrow. I'll just be better today, and that never happens. So
Yeah.
that's all. I mean,
Okay. The good tips.
so Yeah.
for life, period. Yeah. Um,
I also just want to say that
mhm.
on my website is www. This is where I best can reach www dot michellereinglass.com.
Okay. Yeah.
And but we also have another one. I think it's in there. I'm going to give you two of them. The other one.
Okay. And they'll be in the show notes too,
Oh, okay.
everybody.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
my so what I have another one that's just Michelle or so excuse me, it's reinglassadr.com. That's my Mediator one. I think it's in that one where we're giving out 2 free downloads of meditations. And
Ah,
one is
very
a
good.
power meditation and the other is a balance meditation.
Nice. Okay.
Dear friend Janet Whitney created them for me. And
Nice.
so they're in there. And if anybody wants to be put onto a list to be notified when How to Break Free from Addiction to Busy is coming out, or the planner, I would be happy to. That's also something you can do in the website.
Oh, at the Rhine Glass ADR. Okay, good. Good, good. Yeah. And we'll go ahead and make sure we put that in the show notes for everybody. Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you allowed me to come on here with you and
Oh.
just to see you. And thank you for the opportunity.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely my pleasure. Like I said, you're such a giver. You really impact lives. And I mean, as here, it's like, look at all these good tools and resources that you have for everybody. So please, listeners, creatives, loved ones, please take advantage of what Michelle is offering you, especially these 2 free meditations. I'm going to go check that out. So, all right, everyone, is that I aspire for you to keep going in the face of adversity by listening to your intuition. And the reason that I, bring that up is, there's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on, a lot of it's wonkiness is what Michelle and I were talking about. But since our the last 3 years, this is our third year now. We went through a lot in the last 2 years, and I think this year, 2023, is a little wonky. I don't think people really understand what's going on with their lives because things have changed so much. So I aspire for you to please hang on to your intuition. It's always your wisest guide, not your brain. We love our brain, we love our logic, we love our practicality, but you know what? That is the no. Please listen to your intuition, or at least learn how to if you don't know how, and especially follow your joy, right? Pay attention to what brings you joy, because again, that is it is a strategy for life, right? Not just a good feeling. Okay. So I will be with you here audibly next episode, and you all take care. Bye-bye now. Thanks for listening in. You can find more entrepreneurial stories and resources at marladiane.com. And while you're there, enjoy my 3 free downloads to up-level your business and your life. How about you take a screenshot of this episode and tag me on Instagram by sharing your highlights of what you learned today? I'd love to connect there with you. Until next episode, take care.